And now let's cut across live to the Commonwealth Heads Summit taking place in London, where Queen Elizabeth II is all set to address.
The Prince of Wales will now officially welcome us to Buckingham Palace today.
Your Majesty, Your Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, it is a very special pleasure to be here with you all this morning and to join Her Majesty the Queen in welcoming each of you to Buckingham Palace for the formal opening of the Commonwealth Heads of Government meeting. This is an occasion to celebrate with renewed pride our remarkable Commonwealth family, particularly as it follows so hard on the heels of the 21st Commonwealth Games on Australia's Gold Coast, at the opening of which I was proud to have been asked to represent Her Majesty. Witnessing this great gathering of 71 countries and territories and meeting their athletes in the Games village was, above all, a moving reminder of the strong and affectionate bonds which we all share. For my part, the Commonwealth has been a fundamental feature of my life for as long as I can remember, beginning with my first visit to Malta when I was just 5 years old. I consider myself fortunate over the years to have been able to meet and talk with so many of the giants of the Commonwealth: Sir Robert Menzies, Kwame Nkrumah, Sir Keith Holyoake, Jomo Kenyatta, Pierre Trudeau, Kenneth Kaunda, Julius Nyerere, Lee Kuan Yew, and many more. On the foundations they laid, the modern Commonwealth has a vital role to play in building bridges between our countries, fairer societies within them, and a more secure world around them. And so, ladies and gentlemen, I pray that this Commonwealth Heads of Government meeting will not only revitalise the bonds between our countries, but will also give the Commonwealth a renewed relevance to all its citizens, finding practical solutions to their problems and giving life to their aspirations. By doing so, the Commonwealth can be a cornerstone for the lives of future generations, just as it has been for so many of us.
Thank you, Your Royal Highness. The UK is delighted to host the Commonwealth Heads of Government meeting, or CHOGM, in the UK for the first time since 1997. One constant throughout the Commonwealth's remarkable history has been the dedication, insight and experience that the Queen has given. The role she's played is much admired. The formal opening has always served as a vibrant and visible expression of our diversity, and the ceremony this year is inspired by the theme Towards a Common Future. You will now hear a musical performance from 6 singers drawing on vocal styles and traditions from around the Commonwealth.
So as you can see, the CHOGM Summit has kicked off in London, and as we all just saw live visuals coming in, the Prince of Wales, Prince Charles, just opened the ceremony. Let's quickly go across to our foreign correspondent joining us live from London, Mandy Clark. Mandy, we just see the summit has finally taken off. What should we finally expect coming out of CHOGM?
Well, of course, there's going to be lots of pageantry. It's the last time likely the Queen will attend it, host it. Her speech is due to happen later on this hour. Of course, we're getting lots of the colour and singing right now at the CHOGM Festival. But there's going to be a number of bilaterals that the Prime Minister of India, Narendra Modi, will be attending, around 13, where he's going to have members from the Commonwealth Heads of Government have one-on-one conversations. So this is key for a lot of the heads of state, having the opportunity to talk to other Commonwealth heads of state about private matters, but also talk about the big issues. And the big focus on this meeting is about what's their commonality and what is in common with them. Britain is certainly going to be pushing greater trade between all the Commonwealth nations.
Right. Mandy, also, you know, the theme of this year's CHOGM is towards a common future. Elaborate on this theme. Also, Prince of Wales, Prince Charles, mentioned that, you know, they are looking to revitalise the bond between UK and the Commonwealth nations. Elaborate on the theme of CHOGM this year.
So it is about commonality, it's about working together, about having common goals that they can strive for. And this morning, Theresa May made an announcement about getting rid of one-time use plastics, such as plastic spoons and cotton buds. That is an initiative she wants to push, Blue Planet initiative to help clean up the ocean. She's hoping a lot of Commonwealth nations will take it on board. There will be a discussion on it. So it's finding that common concerns, common themes. Obviously, the environment is a common issue for everyone. So trade will also be there along with business, but it's finding those common issues that everyone needs to work on, and then hopefully having momentum to start building on it, building on those initiatives. Certainly that is Britain's going to push forward with the cutting down plastics.
Right, right. Mandy, you aptly mentioned that, you know, trade and business will be an integral part of CHOGM. But also, you know, we all know that Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi has received a very warm welcome in the UK. What can be expected, you know, from CHOGM in terms of India-UK ties?
Well, I think in terms of CHOGM, you know, they have a lot in common. I think what's more important has been a lot of the bilaterals between Britain and India, that warm welcome they received. Britain is very much interested in really deepening those ties with India in terms of tech, trade, automotive, sharing ideas, freedom of movement of people. That is one bit we're expecting to see Britain give way a bit more on visas, loosening those restrictions. So that's what we're expecting between Britain and India. It's an advantage for both of them in the backdrop of Brexit that they need more trade ties. They're looking at those historical links. India is a massive player in terms of business, and certainly Britain sees every advantage to working closer with them.
Right, right. You know, the CHOGM is actually live right now. Let's ask you more about CHOGM. Tell us, what is it actually now that it's happening at the heels of, you know, the Commonwealth Games that have just taken place in Australia's Gold Coast. Tell us more about CHOGM. We also know that this visit by Prime Minister Narendra Modi is very integral, since this is Indian Prime Minister's first visit to CHOGM since 2010.
Well, it's so CHOGM is about those meetings. There's a number of meetings that are happening, but what's the bigger takeaway for a lot of the heads of government is those.
Mandy, I'm going to have to request you to pause over there, since UK Prime Minister Theresa May is addressing everyone.
We're welcoming you all to London, the first full heads of government meeting here in almost 40 years. I want to begin by expressing my gratitude to Prime Minister Muscat and his team. Thank you for your incredible hard work. You represent a Commonwealth truth that the size of a country does not limit its ambition and impact. I hope that over the coming days and months, we can build on the work you have begun as we forge a future for our common good. Over many decades, this organisation has brought together nations young and old, large and small, to celebrate our common bonds and to work to our mutual benefit. There have been difficulties, successes, controversies, but I believe wholeheartedly in the good that the Commonwealth can do. And this week, as young people from our many nations gather and contribute their views, our responsibility as leaders is to ensure their voices are heard and to build a Commonwealth that we can be proud to hand on to the next generation. For in the Commonwealth, we have an incredible opportunity. An opportunity to show just what can be achieved through coordinated action and cooperation.
to seize the possibilities open to us as member countries, and together to take on some of the 21st century's biggest questions. How we support our most vulnerable member states as we tackle climate change and improve the health of our oceans, creating a more sustainable Commonwealth. How we develop through trade, pushing back against protectionism for a more prosperous Commonwealth. How we respond to threats to the rules-based international order and from cyber attacks, creating a more secure Commonwealth. And how, in all of this, we advance those common values which our organisation has always stood for: democracy, human rights, tolerance and the rule of law, so that we establish a fairer Commonwealth. These are problems nations cannot solve alone, but by working together, we can make a real difference. Over the past 3 days, we have seen the power of the Commonwealth in action at the forums for business leaders, young people, women and civil society. These discussions have demonstrated the vibrancy and creativity of our organisation, focusing on issues such as improving trade, youth unemployment, education and health, all of which have the potential to transform people's lives. And I'm looking forward to taking these issues further with the heads of government over the next 2 days. Finally, on behalf of all of you assembled here in Buckingham Palace, I want to offer my heartfelt thanks to Your Majesty, Head of the Commonwealth. This week, you have opened your homes to us here in London and in Windsor. Over many years, you have been the Commonwealth's most steadfast and fervent champion. You have been true to the deepest values of the Commonwealth, that the voice of the smallest member country is worth precisely as much as that of the largest, that the wealthiest and the most vulnerable stand shoulder to shoulder. You have seen us through some of our most serious challenges, and we commit to sustaining this Commonwealth which you have so carefully nurtured. For your service, for your dedication, for your constancy, we thank you.
Thank you, Prime Minister. We will now hear from the Commonwealth Secretary-General, the Right Honourable Patricia Scotland.
Your Majesties, Royal Highnesses, Excellencies, distinguished delegates, friends.
That was the UK Prime Minister Theresa May addressing the CHOGM, and let me quickly go across to our London correspondent Mandy Clark, who joins us live from London. Mandy, we just heard Theresa May address the CHOGM. What do you make of this speech? It was a very inclusive speech, and she also, emphasized on how important it is to tackle climate change, protect the oceans, protect trade. It was a very inclusive speech since she, reached out to all the Commonwealth nations.
Hey, absolutely, and it really focused on the future of the molding of the Commonwealth. It is really harnessing those historical ties, but she pointed out points to listen to the younger generation, what they want the Commonwealth to be, so it has a vibrancy, relevancy in the future. So it was a very forward-looking vision of the Commonwealth, making sure that it is seen as equal, that the weakest member states have the same power and the same voice as the strongest. So a very interesting and inclusive speech, focusing on what they can work together. It sounded very much like a members club that everyone is fortunate to be a part of. They can work together and make it their own, something that they can benefit from. And I think that it's modernity and benefit.
modernity and benefit. Thank you so much, Mandy, for bringing us that quick update from London. We will continue to bring in the latest from CHOGM.